Okay, cool. All right, yeah. Let's get started then. How can I help you?
Yeah, so I'm having a bit of resume trouble, I guess. I've applied to a couple places, but I can't get my resume passed, and I was wondering if maybe I'm just too inexperienced, or my mix of education and experience is not sufficient.
Tell us a bit about your background.
So I have a bit of untraditional background. I have 2 years of experience as a software developer right now. And I have an associate's degree in software engineering, which um, I got in like high school. I was like doing both.
Okay. What sort of courses have you taken in school, and what programming language are you most familiar with?
I would say Python, and I've taken like object oriented programming. That's
Other
about it. There's no DSA or anything, so I feel like I'm missing a lot of the fundamentals.
what sort of projects have you built?
Um, Mostly just web development stuff, but I mean, I wrote some stuff at work.
And is that what you want to do, web development?
No.
Okay. So if web development isn't what you want to do, what do you want to do? Just so the audience can know. I mean, I know we talked about it, but
Oh, yeah. So I'm interested in getting into Bridgewater as it's called. I mean, on their website, it's called investment engineer, but
okay. And why Bridgewater in particular?
just because it's kind of convenient. It's right next to me.
You live in, I'm assuming, the state of New York, or probably somewhere in near there. Near there.
Yeah.
Okay. Um. Okay, so you're a Python dev primarily.
Yeah.
Okay. What version of Python are you using?
3.13.
Okay. What's your favorite Python feature?
Probably that is general use, or there's a lot of different use cases and the ecosystem.
Okay, I wouldn't say that's a Python feature.
Okay.
So, what do you like the least about Python?
I probably don't like list comprehensions because it's not really readable.
Interesting. Okay. Um. Okay. What's the walrus operator in Python?
Um, I I've heard of it. It's a colon and an equal sign, but I think it's sort of kind of like the a plus equal sign in other languages.
Valiant guess, but if you don't know, I would just say I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Effectively, it returns it returns a value, whereas an equal sign doesn't. So it returns the value that it was equal to. So you do x colon equals, you'll have a return value from that. So you can set it to like y equals x colon equals. Okay. Everything in Python is a fill in the blank.
An object.
Okay. What's a decorator in Python?
It's an at symbol, and it kind of describes what the function is, or different types of functions.
What do you mean it describes different types of functions?
Like if it's a static method or if it's a class method.
So give me some more, because That's not my understanding of a decorator, but maybe you're just not providing you with enough detail. So what do you mean a decorator describes other methods, like if it's a static or non-static method?
I'm talking about in terms of readability. If it's a static method, then it's in like the class, but it isn't a class method. It's like a regular function, but it's just in the class for better readability.
But I'm asking you what a decorator is, right? So what's a decorator?
I'm not sure.
Okay. A decorator extends a given function without needing to modify it. So you can decorate a function and, for example, call the function that's decorated as a callback within the decorator.
Oh, yep, sorry.
No, it's okay. You don't need to apologize. When's the next version of Python coming out?
I'm not sure.
Okay. What's the largest integer that you can make in Python?
I'm not sure.
Okay. How large is an int usually? Just an int.
Yeah.
You're not sure how large an int is?
Yeah.
Okay. What's a byte?
A byte is a measurement of data. So
Okay.
8 bits.
Okay. And how many bits are in a byte?
Oh, 8.
Okay. What's 2's complement? Have you heard of that?
No.
Okay. That's a method to effectively encode negative numbers and positive numbers in integers by playing around with the most significant bit. What's the difference between a signed and an unsigned integer?
I'm not sure.
Okay, did you ever take any C in school? Or anything other than Python?
No. And yeah, I mean, I've heard Python is kind of, or like it abstracts a lot of stuff from C.
Okay, and you never took any computer architecture or networking, etc.?
No.
Interesting. Okay, so let's talk about you wanting to join Bridgewater. Bridgewater for Quant, they're going to want to see on your resume a portfolio of pet projects that are relevant to quant trading. They're also going to require you to know a lot of skills that are secondary and tertiary to programming in general. So I'm not going to ask you about networking or computer architecture or any of that because effectively at school you don't have that exposure. So there's no point in me asking you that because that alone can get you kicked out of an interview by not having familiarity with that. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What I would say is that I don't think you're comfortable enough in Python yet to be able to succeed in that interview, and I think that's why they also probably didn't extend you even a hacker rank, because they can probably tell based off your resume that your level of Python isn't where it needs to be. What exposure do you have to data analytics packages in Python?
Pandas and like regular expressions, but that's not really.
Okay. Do you have any visualization experience, like matplotlib, for example?
No.
Or plotly? SciPy?
No.
Okay. Those are going to be very important libraries if you want to break into quant. You're not breaking into quant without those.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would definitely focus on those. Beyond that, Yeah, I would just say you need to grind, dude. Like, your Python's just not there. Go on pluralsight.com, start going through all the extra, you know, whatever that's on Pluralsight. You need to go
Okay,
through
thank you.
everything. You need to go through, like, all the data analytics courses. What's slicing in Python?
It's a string manipulation to grab well, strings are index based, so you can grab the indexes.
Okay, I mean, I think that can be used for any array, effectively. Let me ask you this. Are you familiar with the question fizzbuzz?
Yeah.
If I asked you to solve fizzbuzz, how would you do that? And if you want me to repeat the question, I can do that too.
Yeah, so you would have if or it's a series of numbers from 1 to 100, right?
Sure, yeah, just imagine I'll give you one number.
So if you would look through the number list, and if the number is mod 5 is 0, which means it's divisible by 5, you would print fizz. If it's mod 3, you would print buzz, and if it's mod 5 and mod 3 equals 0, then you would print fizzbuzz.
Okay. What's the difference between dunder? What's dunder name in Python?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's dunder main?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. That's massive. That's how you effectively determine, like, what's, I guess, the first .py executable, or what's the first .py file that's going to be running, like your entry point. So now that puts into question, like, your degree of codability, because that, to me, means if you don't know what dunder name and dunder main is, to me it means you really haven't written any Python programs. How many Python programs have you written yourself?
Well, I would say there are more scripts.
I mean, even for when I do write scripts, I do write, but let's say I write one, I've once written a script to, like, reorganize a database in Python. It was literally one file, and it wasn't massive. It might have been like 200, 300 lines, but even then I did dunder name equals dunder main. I'm not a Python dev, maybe that's not the right way to do it, but, like, when I remember learning Python, that was the very first thing we learned when it comes to executing Python scripts. Let me ask you this. If I want to isolate the packages in a Python environment so that it doesn't conflict with other repositories or doesn't alter the global version of a package on my system, how do I do that?
Yeah, you would create a virtual environment.
Okay. And then what's the name of the file that stores that environment's packages and versions?
It's well, you can give the name of the virtual environment or the directory.
There's a given file I'm looking for.
Oh, okay. Is it the activation file?
The activation file? No. It's a text file. It specifies packages and version numbers.
Oh, are you talking about requirements?
Yeah. That should have came instantly to you, though.
Okay.
Yeah, so listen, this is what I would do if I were you. You need to study harder in Python, because I don't think your Python skills are where they need to be to break into Quant. Okay, you're going to need to focus on packages like NumPy, SciPy, Matplotlib, Plotly. You're also going to be missing a lot of fundamental skills, dude, in terms of tertiary and secondary responsibilities, networking, operating systems, etc. Okay, so do you have any questions for me? Because I asked you a bunch of questions right now.
No, yeah, that's cool.
Okay, well, thanks for joining. Feel free to head back onto chat and just chill around if you'd like to. Yeah, that's all I have for me, I guess.
All right, yeah, thank you. Or what was the website you were talking about?
Pluralsight.com. All right, so yeah, if you can fall back, I will get somebody else on.
All right, yeah, thank you for your time.
Okay, guys, that guy really needed help. That guy is... I like his passion, but his performance there is just not going to cut it anywhere, really.